If you've started with an entry-level GoTrax or Xiaomi M365 and want to level up your game, we are going to look at the brand new Horizon electric scooter by Freeride. At not quite double the price of the Xiaomi M365, is it really going to bring your scooter game to the next level, or will you be left in the dust wishing you bought something else? Let's dig in. What's up everyone, this is Chuck with Electric Scooter Guide. If you like this video and want us to keep making more, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel and give this video a thumbs up. The electric scooter market has been dominated the past couple years by the Xiaomi M365. It is the most popular electric scooter in the world for good reason, and even though it's only $399, it is our choice for scooters under $600. But what if you want more? What is the next level above the Xiaomi? How much do you have to spend, and what are you really getting? Enter the Horizon by Freeride. The Horizon comes in two flavors, a 10.4 amp hour version for $569 and a 13 amp hour version for $729. If you don't immediately understand the benefits of battery amp hours, you're not alone. The difference is that the $659 version will get you nearly 21 miles on a charge, while the $729 version will go about 26 miles, but we'll get into more of that later. With the price tag right around $700, the scooters we will be comparing this scooter to will not only be the Xiaomi M365, but to three other scooters in the price category. The Ninebot ES4 at $769, the U-Scooter Eco, currently on significant discount at $599, and the Zoom Strider EX, currently at $699. Range on the 13 amp hour Horizon is actually quite excellent, with a stated range of 25 miles. However, when testing the scooter in our real-world test loop in California, something happened that's never happened before during a range test. We actually found the scooter to have a longer range than the manufacturer claimed. Usually we get somewhere between 50 and 75% of the claimed range. In this case, we got 26.01 miles, 1 mile more than the claim range. We tested the 13 amp hour version of the scooter. The 10.4 amp hour version should get about 20.8 miles under real world conditions. The Segway ES4 with its extra battery claims 28 miles. However, in real world usage, you will get just under 20 miles of range. The Zoom Strider EX has a claimed range of 22 miles, but according to our 2018 electric scooter survey, in the real world, you will get around 15.6. The U-Scooter Eco has a claim range of 16 miles, and you should actually get close to that number. Finally, the less expensive Xiaomi M365 has a claim range of 18.6 miles, and our range test found the scooter to get 14.6 miles. The Horizon really shines in our real-world range test, and that is partially due to its massive 624 amp hour battery, close to double the average for this price category. Here's a comparison of the battery sizes for comparable scooters. There is a downside to the massive battery and range, and that is weight. Physics being what they are, batteries are heavy, and so is the Horizon, coming in at 42 pounds for the larger battery version, 40 pounds for the smaller 10 amp version. While I still find this very manageable for carrying, the other comparable scooters are much lighter. The Zoom and U-Scooters being the lightest at 24 pounds. If your commute involves a lot of lifting the scooter, you should make sure the weight of the Horizon works for you. We recommend going to your nearest sporting goods store and lifting some kettlebells to determine a good weight for you to be lifting. Now, although the weight is on the heavier side of the price category, all other aspects that make this scooter portable are very good. The Horizon folds into a very small package of 39 inches long by 7 inches wide by 15 inches tall, and should easily fit under your desk at work, under the table at a restaurant, or into the trunk of a car. This is because everything is foldable and collapsible, including the stem and handlebars. Both the Zoom Strider EX and U-Scooter have similarly small folded dimensions. The Xiaomi does not have folding handlebars, which cause the width to be an issue on some forms of public transportation. The Segway ES4 does not have folding handlebars either, and with the larger stem circumference, the ES4 feels a lot more than 31 pounds. Additionally, the ES4 is one of the few scooters that cannot fit into a standard trunk lengthwise. The folding mechanism on the Horizon is solid, and it has 3 positions: folded and locked, half upright unlocked, and fully open locked. The pin that holds the scooter in the open and closed locked positions makes a satisfying clicking sound when locked in, so you know you will not have the scooter collapse on you while riding. Folding and unfolding the scooter is fast and easy, utilizing just one lever. The handlebars are secured using large tension screws that you will need to screw and unscrew each time you fold or unfold the scooter. If you've ever had a handlebar collapse on you during your ride, as I have, it does add a feeling of security knowing the handlebars are locked in place, even though it adds time to the folding and unfolding process. One complaint with this system is that the screws tend to slowly unscrew as you ride. It's not enough for the handlebar to fall, but it does lead to some play in the handlebars. I found myself retightening the screw every mile or so. As scooters get more popular, the need to lock them up outside is increasing, and many scooters lack this ability. The Fluid Freeride Horizon can be locked above the front wheel with a U-lock. You can also possibly fit a smaller cable or link-style lock through the rear suspension area. The Fluid Freeride Horizon is fast. In Mode 3, we clocked in at a top speed of 24 miles per hour with a 165-pound rider on flat ground. Going up a moderate 4% grade, we were still able to achieve 21 miles per hour, more than enough to fly past every single struggling bicycle. For comparison, the ES4 and Zoom Strider can hit 19 miles per hour, while the U-Scooter and Xiaomi are locked at a max speed of 16. Now, some of those speeds are locked in due to the legal restrictions or due to range optimization, since going slower will yield a better range. Even 16 miles per hour is plenty when you're going through heavy traffic and is faster than 60% of the bicycles you will encounter. We really only go past 20 miles per hour when we have an open road without automobiles or bicycles. This top speed is made possible by a rear-wheel drive 500-watt motor. It peaks at 800 watts of power for short bursts. This is quite good for the price and double the sustained power output of the Xiaomi M365. The ES4 has 300 watts of power, while the U-Scooter Eco claims 350. Unfortunately, there is no data on the Zoom Strider's nominal power output, but many believe it to be 300 watts. What is quite interesting, at least to us enthusiasts, is the acceleration curve and power consumption. Acceleration, even with zero start on, meaning you don't need to push it to get power, is actually very lackluster for the first few seconds. In fact, the throttle is quite unresponsive. Getting to 8 miles an hour, this might be the slowest scooter out there. It took 4.6 seconds to go from start to 50 feet, which is even slower than the 4 seconds it took the GoTrax GXL commuter with half the power. However, after a few seconds of slow acceleration, you can feel the power increasing during the mid-range. In fact, the motor gets a bit loud as you can feel the acceleration getting you up through about 15 to 20 miles per hour. From there, the motor quiets down a bit and smoothly accelerates up to top speed. We are now using more advanced race logic testing equipment, similar to what car racers use on a track. The race logic 0 to 15 mile per hour time was 4.7 seconds, and getting to 20 took just a little over 3 seconds longer at 7.83 seconds. We hit the 200-foot mark at 10.18 seconds. When comparing this to the Xiaomi M365, it took 8.2 seconds for that scooter to get to 15 miles an hour, quite a bit slower. Our 10% grade 200-foot hill climb was completed by the Horizon in 15.13 seconds at a max speed of 11.01 miles per hour. For comparison, the capable Xiaomi M365 took about 6 seconds longer at 21.2 seconds. Like most scooters, the Horizon does allow you to limit the speed using a simple mode adjustment. All of our testing was done on the fastest Mode 3 setting. Just as important as top speed is the ability to stop quickly in an emergency. Luckily, the Horizon comes equipped with a rear drum brake as well as a regenerative brake. The dual braking system is activated through a single left side handbrake. The drum brake came out of the box well adjusted, and we haven't yet needed to readjust. We found the brake activation to be smooth and fairly quiet. If you barely press the brake, you can feel the regen brake kicking in. In total, the scooter was able to stop from 15 miles per hour to 0 in 23.0 feet. The lighter Xiaomi M365 is equipped with a rear disc brake and electronic front brake and was able to stop in a nearly identical 22.8 feet. The Segway ES4, U-Scooter Eco, and Zoom Strider EX unfortunately are not equipped with a drum or disc brake, utilizing only regenerative and a foot brake for their braking power. Using only the regenerative brakes, the ES4 had a stopping distance of 52.71 feet. If you use both the foot and the regenerative brake, you can get a shorter stopping distance of 17.72 feet, but most riders don't scoot with one foot lifted in the air over the foot brake. We have not yet tested stopping distance on the Eco or EX, but we would expect them to have similar metrics as the ES4. This lack of a real mechanical brake is a big downside to any of the three competing scooters, as there will be times when you need to stop short in an emergency. If you follow any of our videos or guides, you know that we strongly prefer pneumatic, otherwise known as air-filled tires, over solid tires because we believe the benefits of performance, safety, and comfort outweigh the potential drawback of getting a flat tire. Remember that you can use tire slime to prevent and fix all but the most egregious tire punctures. See a link in the video description for more details on this. With that said, the Horizon comes in with an 8-inch pneumatic front tire and a solid 8-inch rear tire. They do the job, but we would have preferred both tires to be a bit larger and to have a pneumatic tire on the rear. The front tire adequately handles bumps and road imperfections, but you can feel the solid rear tire struggling to stay steady on nearly any raised portion of the road. Additionally, since the solid tire is on the same wheel as the drum brake, if you lock out the rear brake, you will notice the back tire skidding to a stop slightly askew of your center line. While this can be sort of fun at times, it is something to be aware of. If you are going out in slippery conditions, the front tire will hold, but be careful during sharp turns as you are at risk of your rear wheel sliding out from under you. Unfortunately, the competing scooters in this price range are not any better in this regard, as they all come equipped with solid tires on both wheels. The ES4 has dual 8-inch solid tires, while both the U-Scooter Eco and Zoom Strider EX have smaller 7.5-inch solid tires. With good road conditions, this will be fine, but we do not advise taking any of these scooters out in the rain. Interestingly enough, the Xiaomi M365 scooter at $300 less comes equipped with larger 8.5-inch dual pneumatic tires. When riding the M365, you immediately notice the increase in stability as the larger contact patch on both tires keeps the scooter firmly planted on the road, giving you more traction when turning and grip in slippery condition. This feature is one of the main reasons why we chose the M365 as the best scooter under $600. The Fluid Freeride has front and rear suspension. The front spring suspension is located just over the front wheel, and along with the front pneumatic tire, total damping effects are quite good and lead to a stable, comfortable ride. The rear wheel has a dual hydraulic suspension system between the rear wheel and the standing platform. You will notice a lot of travel in the suspension, which is needed as a solid rear tire does not soak up any vibrations coming from the road. Overall, the ride is relatively smooth and small bumps in the road will not affect your ride. Even after the 26-mile range test, I could still feel my feet, which is a good sign for this scooter. The other scooters in this price category all have dual suspension as well. The U-Scooter Eco and Zoom Strider EX have a similar spring-style suspension on the front and rear. While not quite as good as the dual rear hydraulic suspension of the Horizon, they are adequate. The Segway ES4 does have dual suspension, but from the harsh ride you wouldn't know it. Finally, the Xiaomi M365 does not have any suspension, but has some damping benefits from the dual pneumatic tires. The max load for the Horizon is 265 pounds. We have tested this scooter with over 300 pounds, and while a bit slower, it still chugs along. If you're over about 240 pounds, you will have a harder time going up hills, and you may want to look at the scooters with more than 500 watts of power or a dual motor scooter. I'm 165 pounds, and when riding, everything works well with no extra noises besides the motor stress. The stem does bend a bit when you pull forward or backward on it, but otherwise it's very solid. For comparison, the Segway ES4 and Xiaomi M365 are rated at 220 pounds, the Zoom Strider EX at 242, and the U-Scooter Eco at 249 pounds. Lights on the horizon are plentiful, but not positioned well, nor are they extremely bright. On the front of the scooter, there is one low-mounted small front light and two button lights on either side of the platform. We tested the brightness from 1 meter and found the total of the front lights to be 34 lux. The rear has two button lights mounted on either side of the platform. When braking, both lights blink to warn those behind you that you're braking. When the lights are switched to the on position, those two lights stay on all the time and then blink when the brake is applied. For reference, all the other comparison scooters have their front light mounted high up near the handlebars, something we prefer for safety at night as it allows cars to see you more easily. Every scooter we are comparing also has the rear red light mounted on the rear fender, not much difference between the models. However, the Segway ES4 has some pretty cool ground effects that you can customize through their app. The display on the horizon is minimal and features a similar throttle display unit that you'll find on many other scooters these days. The display shows your speed, what mode you are in, and the scooter battery level. In direct sunlight, you can see everything on the display except the battery level is a bit small, and you will have a harder time viewing that in the sun. Changing modes and turning on and off the lights is dead simple. You can also go into the advanced P settings to modify the more advanced features of the scooter, such as zero start, cruise control, and changing from metric to imperial. Attached to the display is a trigger style throttle. We always prefer a thumb style throttle as it is much more ergonomic, although this particular variation of trigger throttle is not so bad because the actual trigger does not take much force to pull, and since we nearly always have the trigger fully engaged, there's not as much stretching of the forefinger, keeping your fingers less outstretched and less prone to cramping. One hidden feature on many similar throttle displays is a USB port for charging your device. If you need to keep your phone out while riding, you can get a scooter phone mount, see our favorite in the video description, and you can even charge it while riding by plugging it into this port. Pretty cool. The grips have a good build quality and feel nice when riding, and they don't slip or move around. Looking at the other scooters in the price category plus the Xiaomi, they all have a thumb style throttle. There are differences in each display, and some, like the Xiaomi and Segway, even have apps that connect to the scooter to change the settings. One feature sorely lacking on this scooter is an audible warning device such as a horn or a bell. It is fairly easy to pick up an aftermarket horn, and we've listed our favorite in the video description, but this should have been included. The front cords have been wrapped in a sort of protective sheath, a nice detail that will help prolong the life of this scooter. The kickstand is a bit short, and because of that, the Horizon does tend to tip a bit further than most. As long as you're careful when putting the kickstand down, you should be alright. The Horizon is a fun scooter to ride. It gives you a nice top speed and long range in a very compact package. The rear wheel does tend to walk a bit when encountering small raised areas like paint lines in the road, but it is also nimble enough to avoid them. When safe to do so, I found myself carving back and forth, and at 20 or more miles per hour, it's a lot of fun. The brakes are solid and work well without any maintenance, and I feel secure in an emergency. The suspension does a good job taking the bumps out of all but the worst roads in my hometown, and I find myself using this scooter quite a bit. And the stem locks well, and I can detect zero wobble when riding. Probably because I like the speed, this has been my go-to scooter the past few weeks. I get where I'm going faster than the Xiaomi M365, and since there is not much rain currently, the rear solid tire performs okay in these good conditions. If I forget to charge the scooter for one day, I'm not worried that I'll run out of battery since the range is so phenomenal. Now, there are a couple of things that annoy me about the scooter. One, as I mentioned before, the darn handlebar screws are constantly loosening. Not enough to be dangerous, but since every other part of the scooter is so good, it is a little disappointing. Also, the plug for the power cord is right next to the front wheel, which means if you were to turn the front wheel with the power cord still plugged in, you risk bending or breaking the charging system. Finally, and this is a small gripe, but the little rubber cap that plugs into the USB port on the throttle display unit seems to be constantly coming off and then just flies around a bit in the wind. Fluid Freeride has a 90-day warranty on this scooter. They have replacement parts and will help you via phone or email should you need help with the scooter. Their email support took just over 2 days for a response in our anonymous email test. So while not extremely fast, they will get back to you and the owner is very involved in the business. While the scooter is new to Fluid Freerides, it is a clone of the 08, which has been through multiple generations of upgrade, so expect it to work well out of the box with few issues. Overall, we like the fast speed, extremely long range, and small folded size of this scooter. We didn't like the solid rear tire, the handlebar screws tend to unscrew, and if you're not careful, the charging port is prone to damage by the front wheel. The Fluid Freeride Horizon beats the competition in the under $800 price category with a high performance brake, best-in-class suspension, extremely long range, and a very portable package. If you want more info on this scooter, or to purchase it, see the links in the video description. If you found this video valuable, please click the subscribe and thumbs up button so we can keep making more scooter review videos for you. If you have questions about this or any other scooter, we have a Facebook group where you can post questions and not only we will respond, but a bunch of other scooter enthusiasts will respond as well. You can find that link in the video description. Finally, for a detailed guide on how to choose the perfect scooter for you, check out our very popular How to Find the Perfect Electric Scooter video we recently released. As always, ride safe and don't forget to wear your helmet.